Good morning, JCT brothers and sisters out there. How we doing this morning? So glad to see everybody again. Welcome back to the Safety Mile with Jac and Kyle.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Jac. Hey guys, got a little information to go over this morning. We're going to, of course, talk about our birthdays and anniversary like always. So what kind of topic we got today?
So I'm going to be talking about safety coaching, what you can expect to hear out there in the field, and kind of the intent behind all of that here in the office.
Okay, good. Can't wait to get into that one.
What about you, Jac?
That's pretty good. I think we'll just go with that today.
All right.
Because I got
That's a lot. There's a lot there.
There's a lot there, and I got a lot to add as well.
Uh-huh.
So we'll go ahead and start with those birthdays.
Right on. Okay, guys. So, yeah, happy birthday to everybody out there. We got a bunch of them this week. We've got Raymond Donald turning old 65. So, happy birthday, Raymond. Keep
Raymond's
going
right
out
here.
there, buddy.
Might see him on the yard here in just a minute.
Oh, yeah? All right. Isaiah Payne got a birthday as well. William Cressup, James Justice, Wayne Jones, John Carnamola, Lonnie Williams, James Green, Kane Laughlin, Theodore Young. Happy birthday, Theodore. It was good talking to you yesterday. Cedric Desmoshe, Crystal Kellerman. Also saw her yesterday.
Yeah,
good to see
Crystal.
you as well. Happy birthday, Crystal. Berlin Pareto, Peter Germain, and our very own John Wayne Krishner has a birthday today. So happy birthday, JWC.
Happy birthday, JW.
Happy birthday. Hope it's going great for you, man.
All right, awesome. Hey, a lot of good birthdays there. All right, anniversaries for this week. 1-year anniversaries are going to be Steve Weeks, Robert Rigdon, Curtis Randall, Marlon Goodpaster, and then 3-year anniversary is going to be Juana Ramirez. Dean Colasante is a 3 years as well. Whew, almost messed that up. Sorry.
That was good.
Okay, Will Washington. That's going to be a 4 year, 7 years. Octavio Gardinas. And Dominic Walker. I kind of know Dominic. He's a pretty good fella out there.
All right.
Also, 11 years. This is a big one. That's going to be Robert Stevens. Guys, congratulations. And thank you for all your hard work and effort. So we so much appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, well, Kyle, talk us through a little of that.
Oh yeah, guys. So I wanted to talk about safety coaching. It's something that has likely happened to you at some point. Maybe you were just going a little too fast at one point. Maybe you took to take a U-turn out there while you're out there on the road. Any event, you may have received some safety coaching in the past. I just wanted to talk a little bit about.
Real quick, no U-turns. We don't do that.
Absolutely, that's against the rules.
Don't do that.
You will get a call for sure. Anyway, I wanted to talk about it because I know. A lot of the reaction to a call from safety is like you're going to roll your eyes maybe, like are you serious? Maybe a reaction like I've never gotten a ticket in my life, never a violation, never anything like that, never been pulled over, and you're going to give me a call about what? Going 8 over for however long? It all comes down to really like these are things that we want to adjust on, right? So this is important because, one, whenever we're calling you, we're always coming from the perspective of trying to create the safest environment for you and everyone out there. And it really doesn't take much for something to go wrong out there on the road.
So true.
It doesn't take but one mistake. And we just want to minimize however many mistakes that is just to make sure we're doing our job as safety personnel.
Exactly. When it comes to safety, nobody's going to do it for you. And when it comes to safety, we're all in it together. We're all in for safety. That is the most important thing we can do out there on the road. From the office to where the rubber meets the pavement, we've got to be all in for safety. Because nobody's going to step up and do it for us. We've got to watch ourselves.
Right. And it's not as if like this stuff is going to get less lenient more lenient over time. These are things that like any sort of problems that we have as far as culture, or I don't even mean culture, but I mean like habits that we might have. We want to adjust those as soon as possible so they don't like sustain. And the more you have a bad habit, the more likely that bad habit's going to bite you in the butt. You know what I'm saying?
And of course, over many years, and the years we've been in this doing this, I've been in the safety for a little over 10 years now, but I've been in this industry almost 28, and every safety department that I've ever worked under as a driver, safety always comes down like the iron fist, the Punisher.
Sure.
That is not the true mark of a safety department. A safety department, they're there to coach, educate, counsel, and then with today's technologies, the stuff we have on the road today is also help detect bad habits and coach those bad habits before they become an issue.
Right.
And that's the main goal out there is, protecting each other and keeping everybody safe and going home at the end of the day.
Right, which is like, what good is all this money going to be if, one, we like get in accidents where that money's going to, it has to go somewhere. It has to go maybe to the other driver that maybe you hit, or maybe it has to go to insurance. All of that, like we want, one, you get to get home safely, and also we just want to protect your pocketbook as well. You get these tickets and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to mount up quite a bit. It's going to show up on your MVR and PSP, which can hurt your further aspirations of employment or contracting with other truck driving companies as well. Mm-hmm. And also, like, don't we all, as human beings, just want to get better at the things that we love to do or just do for work? We want to be the best types of whatever we are out there, whether it's like, safety person in the office. Maybe you want to be the best driver out there. These are things that you have to consider. But, Jack, how do we go about this whole thing here in the office? Like, what are we looking at? What do we try to, like, convey whenever we're calling these drivers?
What are we trying to convey? Basically, we're just trying to correct a bad habit to keep it from turning into an issue or a problem. A lot of, like today, everybody's moving towards forward-facing cameras and so on, and we have entered into that. We have forward-facing cameras now on our trucks, and the thing about it is the driver has to trigger that, either by hitting the button and triggering what we call the panic button and triggering it himself, or by creating an act that triggers it, such as an unlawful act such as speeding, reckless driving, following distance, red lights, stop signs, these type of thing, running red lights, running stop signs, that will trigger the camera. It is monitored by third-party almost didn't get that out. Third-party computer system. Goodness. Stuttering and stammering all over the place this morning. But it's monitored, and then as it catches those segments, it will then email JCT that clip it. Right. And then we try to use those clips to educate a driver of possible bad habits that we don't realize, and sometimes even as drivers, we don't realize we're doing.
100%. This is all event-based coaching, right? These are things that, like, have created a notification for us to look at. Now, we do base what we call you about off of these events, right? It's not as if we blindly see something. We have to call immediately. If you do a good job out there avoiding maybe an accident, or you're safely avoiding some sort of obstruction,
those pop up too.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are things that we want to tell you. Hey, great job.
Kudos.
Absolutely.
Attaboy, attagirl, whatever,
Yeah.
So that as well, though, we get good recommendations off those as well. So a lot of those times with dealing with those, a lot of guys get a little upset, a little defensive.
Sure.
And I get it, because it does feel like somebody's watching. However, we're not really watching. It's triggering these events. The driver has to trigger that event for it to happen, and so on. But one thing I do want to remind guys, a big thing is following distance out there. We are coming up on spring, so we're going to be looking at safety blitz is really not that far out.
Yeah.
You got the brake check deal coming up in April, right? I believe you said you read the other day.
Quick, yeah.
Yeah, so that's coming up in April. And then all summer long, they are looking at safe driving. Okay, so they're going to be stopping not just trucks, but vehicles as well, working on safe driving, such as working on unsafe driving events, which that could be anywhere from seatbelt, failure to use turn signal, following distance, speeding.
Yeah. And
unfortunately for a truck, all of those are unsafe driving acts and accrue those unsafe driving CSA points.
Right.
Even a turn signal, failure to use a turn signal, these types of things. So we got to think about that right now, moving in, make sure we're correcting our bad habits.
Yeah.
Because, bad habits, they lead to something else a lot of times.
Yeah, and truly, that is the whole thing. We just want to help you guys. The less you hear from us, the happier you are. And that just comes down to, these events not happening.
I don't know. I'm pretty pleasant to talk to.
Well, yeah, sure. I guess, if you want to hear a joke or something, feel free to call in. But I get the fact that, you see safety pop up on your what is it called? Whenever it pops up the name on your caller ID. Sorry, I'm a millennial. I don't know the name of these things. But Yeah, you don't want to see that. However, like, I know it might be a little difficult, but if you come at it from the perspective that, like, truly we just want to make sure that you get home at the end of the day, that your asset remains intact, and that you remain intact, and your pocketbook remains intact. Those are our total functions here. Like, that's our job. So I hope you guys understand that. Anything else you wanted to add, Jack?
Safety tip for the week, guys. I just want everybody to focus on following distance. That is key. No matter what's going on out there, you need a minimum of 8 seconds following distance. Why? Because following distance, that's where a lot of your safety starts. Following distance and eye lead time. That's where your safety starts. With proper following distance, no matter what happens in front of you, no matter what the emergency is, you will have room to safely stop your vehicle. You know, one of the common things, a lot of the safety programs talk about always having an opportunity to leave yourself an out or this or that. And a lot of people, they take that as making a move to the left or to the right. In a commercial vehicle, for what we do, the weight and the size, that's not necessarily an option for us, making the move to the left or the right to avoid those types of things. We've got to focus on the following distance that we can stop safely no matter what the emergency. Because a lot of times, the move to the left, the yanking the steering wheel, that can create another accident, jackknife, especially, bad weather, wet roads, snow, ice. It can create jackknives or create a larger crash. And moving to the right, jerking the wheel to the right, that a lot of times that means you're getting off the road. I don't know about you guys, but I don't care about driving a truck off the road at high speed. It does not end well. Okay? So that's the importance of managing the space in front of your vehicle. We need to be able to safely stop. And the reason why they talk about seconds, years ago, when I started driving, they taught car lengths. You got to have so many car lengths for every 10 miles. One car length for every 10 miles an hour. Then once you reach 5 miles an hour, you add a car length and a half for every 10 miles an hour above that. Yada, 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 yada. Okay, well, that's kind of tough to do driving around counting car lengths all day long. So the easiest thing to do with a truck is to count seconds. So when the vehicle in front of you, that vehicle, the rear bumper passes a certain point in the highway, roadway, whether it's a street sign, a stripe in the road, a manhole cover, you'll start counting 1001, 1002, and so on until the front bumper of your vehicle reaches that same point. Therein, you have your following distance.
Right.
Now, what's cool about that, time is always the same. Okay? That's the important thing. Depending on how fast you're going will determine the amount of space. So if I'm following a car, if I'm 8 seconds behind a vehicle at 25 miles an hour, that's going to be a much smaller space.
Yeah.
70 miles an hour, 8 seconds is going to be a much larger space. Reason being, the reason why we use seconds, because if an emergency situation does arrive, it happens, it takes anywhere from a half a second to almost a whole second for basically the average driver to say, whoa, something's happening in front of me. There's a problem. There's an issue. Then it takes a half a second to a whole second to react to that. So right there, we're somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 seconds already lost.
Right.
So if you don't have ample following distance, you're already on top of that situation.
For sure.
So then that's where the rest of that time comes in, is for the vehicle to react and to make a safe stop.
Right.
And also, guys, if you encroach upon that following distance, you decrease that time. You're doing a much harder, much more abrupt, much more evasive stop, hopefully stopping and not driving into whatever the issue is in front of you.
Right.
So that's the importance of having that 8 seconds so that you can stop safely, not only for yourself, but for the person behind you. A lot of times, guys, dealing with stop signs and stop lights, we forget a lot of things. And one of the things when I'm doing some on-road driving or training, always remind the drivers, when we're coming up on a light or an intersection, always eye to mirror and then foot to brake. Because when we're making that decision, if that light changes to yellow on us too quickly or something of that nature, that we've got to stop safely for ourselves, but we've also got to be able to stop safely for that person behind us as well. So that's why I always say eye to mirror and then foot to brake.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's my little safety rant for the week, guys.
Good. That was great.
Anything else, Kyle?
That's going to be it. Again, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks, Adam, again, for helping us out. Hope you guys tune in next week. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to drop a comment in.
There we go.
Give us a little like there. Share with your friends. Tell everybody to watch this thing. We'd love to get more engagement. So, we'll see you guys next week, all right?
Next week, we're going to try to bring in Miss... she don't know this yet, but I'm going to ask Miss Andrea Woodruff to come in. She manages the driver settlements and stuff, so she can talk a little bit about driver settlements. So, guys, prepare for that.
All right. See ya.
Take care. Be safe.